What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology Retold action, spawning in the blue color, playing as Poseidon. His name is El Matador. His opponent today, in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Magic. Oh, come on, Magic. You don't have to build the third ox cart. Ah! I mean, it's fine. There's no real huge downside to this, depending on what sort of strategy you're going for. But the whole idea of being able to drag hunt in to your main base, what this actually does is it allows you to have a really, really early advance time to do whatever you want with it. Now, against Poseidon, I can understand that this might not be the best of ideas in the grand scheme of things. So I don't hate that Magic's doing this, but I mean, it's just the principle of the thing. It's just the principle of the thing. Advancing fast against Poseidon and trying to put pressure on doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they've got the hero Atlanta, which is just really, really difficult to get damage dealt with because she's so quick. So it does make sense. But yeah, this is a really, really fun matchup. This is probably one of my more favorite matchups in the game, is Norse versus Poseidon. Reason is Norse has got all the tools to counter what Poseidon has, but Poseidon is just really, really strong and also has all the tools to counter what Norse has. So you end up having a really fun game. You know, you're absolutely right here. Moo too cool. He could have had, oh no, his poor dwarf is not mining. He could have had the ox cart sharing over here on this straggler tree. And then he wouldn't have had to build a single ox cart. He probably could have gone for a 3-minute advance time and absolutely corked El Matador in this early stages of the game. Nonetheless, these are just small things that don't really matter right now, but as the game gets more detailed with like more kind of like this is a strategy you can go for and people work this stuff out, then yeah, you'll start to see this stuff a little bit more, I guess. But it does make some sense that there's not really any sort of advantage to be gained. Just do these sorts of builds on every single map, every single time, and you're going to be in the same spot every time and going to be able to have a great game of it. We'll have to wait and see how it's all going to go, as we do have Hermes coming through for El Matador. He goes for a 4-minute advance time. I want to talk a little bit about El Matador as well, because there is a small mistake here, I think, that El Matador has gone for, in that he's used his lure in the early stages of the game. I think you should save it until you're in the classical age, because you get an extra 100 food in chicken and an extra 100 food in lured hunt. Instead, you could just drag those rhinos in, and especially if you're going for a 4-minute advance time, you could even put a granary down out here if you also don't want to do the luring. Completely fine way to play that as well. So you can get a very, very big advantage in the early game over someone who doesn't do this. So I'll have to wait and see. Wall's coming up. I love this wall protecting the backside of Magic's base here. He's so good at doing this, just playing a really, really defensive game. Not like super defensive, but just the small things that keeps his base very, very unraidable, and all the other good stuff. He's got back baboons over here as well. Probably not going to be making his way onto those anytime soon, but he does have that. And guess what he's done, which I absolutely love? He's saved Great Hunt. You can actually click this Great Hunt onto the zebra here when he hits the classical age, and he gets bonus amounts of food from this. So he's not going to have to leave his base for a much, much longer time. It's a really, really good way of using this, but you do have to click that Great Hunt. And we do see the center roaming forward. There's the Great Hunt getting dropped down there. And you can see 400 food on this one, 400 food on that one. So is that really all it was? He gets 800 food from it. That's actually quite a bit. That's quite a bit there. Anyways, Centaur getting pushed back as the Theseus is out. And Magic does have to be a little bit careful with the Valkyrie, as we were talking about. The Atlanta can come out and deal with that one nicely. So we see double stables coming through for El Matador. And meanwhile, on the other side of the map here, we've got Magic going for the double longhouse, or double Great Hall, one longhouse opening, and making Herban off the back, or right off the bat here, which I absolutely love, considering El Matador has gone for two two stables here to kick the game off, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see if El Matador is going to be able to react to this, because you really, really do not want to be going mass hippias into Herman. These hit like a truck. They're really cheap at only 35 food, 45 gold. They're a little bit on the pricey side gold-wise, but they hit like a truck against those hippias there. So we'll see as the army of El Matador going to be moving in to hit its first raid. Meanwhile, over here, the Atlanta will be able to take out that Valkyrie. Magic has not paid attention there. He does keep his villagers alive, but losing that Valkyrie is really big. I honestly don't think you should even go for a raid with it against Poseidon, because that Atlanta is just so obscenely good at dealing with only 5.8 speed, excuse me, not 5.9. Is it really? I thought it was 5.9. Anyway, it must have been nerfed at some point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Valkyrie, if the Valkyrie gets hit, you can't outrun it. So it's better to just turn around and just try and kill off villagers or something while the Atlanta tries to kill off the Valkyrie. Nonetheless, the units are now starting to come out for Magic. We've hit around about 6 minutes and 30 seconds into this game. I'm a little bit surprised to see how low the population is for kind of both of these players at this point. I've been of the opinion that when you get to about 6 minutes into the game, you should be at 60 population. And yes, we do have medium cavalry through for Magic, but the population just, excuse me, a little bit slow here to get going. As El Matador, he is controlling his army nicely to kick this game off right now. As the Hippie is going to be moving back and forward here as best as they can. Raiding cavalry getting taken down as well very quickly with that Herdman. Going to be scary. A couple more Herdmen are going to be coming through here as well, as the Hersa trying to chase that Centaur down. It's not going to be able to do so. Good micro from El Matador, but better micro from Magic, as he does not chase at all in that fight. Who will end up winning this one, as another Hersa does come through. Defender's advantage ends up being too strong here for El Matador to crack through, as he's going to have to retreat back into his main base. As this Herdman getting kind of caught out in the middle of nowhere, will end up getting finished off there. So a little bit of a win to finish that fight off. But Magic is going to be really, really happy right now with this position. He gets to move forward, grab this Gazelle in the center of the map. He's actually decided to click Great Hunt for a second time. Why not? Why not? If he feels like he can hold the hunt, just sit here and eat it. It's going to be a brutal amount of income for him. Those villagers gathering at 1.04 food a second. He's got himself 3 great hauls here. Another armory coming up. Absolutely love that. One thing that I always say is, as the game goes on, just keep putting more and more military buildings going down. This is such an important part of just spending all your resources. And you can see Magic here. This is why he's doing it. He's actually queuing up multiple units into a single building. It's something you don't want to be doing. So whenever you're starting to do that, as soon as you start to do that, it's time to throw extra buildings down. And that's going to allow him to just spend so much of those resources that he's gathering at the moment. He's got, he doesn't have the villager lead at the moment, but he does have the economic lead, and that just comes from playing as Norse. Lots and lots of villagers on the gold as well. And he's also got that market down, which I like as well. Just in case he overdoes it on gold, he can buy some food. It's going to be really, really nice. We can hit Alt T to flip this bad boy around. I see Atlanta going to be pulling back. We do see a cheeky little forest fire to open this map up. I much prefer to hold my forest fire now. For those of you who don't know, forest fire does get stronger as you age up. The later you click it, the later ages you click it, the more you're going to be able to get. Not only that, if you catch your opponent out later in the game, that can actually end up being a really, really big turning point. But we'll see if El Matador can figure this one out. And now he's finally dropping that military academy. Finally dropping the military academy. He should have been doing this from the get-go, especially if you want to be aggressive early against Norse. I think it's really, really important to open up with some infantry units in this matchup. But we'll see how things are going to go as the Katoskabot's coming up to the top left side of the map here. And the raiding cavalry going to be retreating back. As we see a couple more longhouses getting dropped down in the front, in the middle of the map. Get, I don't know, more Herdmen built, because why go into anything else? If your opponent's not doing anything, just keep building Herdmen. But we see Aphrodite is on the way. Meanwhile, Njord coming through here for Magic. Absolutely love that idea. Not just because he gets access to the trees, but he's got so many of those great hauls, and he can get himself that Ring Giver upgrade. He's also already got himself the Thundering Hooves to boost the speed of his cavalry and damage output as well, I think. But also getting into those Jarls is going to be really, really strong. As we see Magic deciding to put some pressure on. He wants the curse to be dropped defensively here, and it does get forced out, as we do see some Prodromus starting to enter into the mix. And a lot of those Herdmen are going to start getting produced now, and that will put a stop to any sort of cavalry that El Matador is going to be doing here. So El Matador either needs to get some archers out to deal with those Herdmen, or some Hephaspus out to deal with them. He could also go for hoplites as well. It's not a terrible idea. That's a great haul over here going to be getting taken down. El Matador in the center of the map in a decent position. Going to start taking a lot of those units out. The villagers do have to bail out on that great hunt that he did click over there. There's the villagers up the top here for Magic. Going to be grabbing hunt all over the map here. One thing that El Matador could really be using in this game is going to be a Pegasus flying around the map as the raiding cavalry doing what they do best, as they catch El Matador out of position, and El Matador has to click ceasefire. Good decision making to do that. I mean, when it comes down to it, this forest fire actually did a whole world of good here, but El Matador, one wall here, building over here, and those raiding cavalry, much more challenging to get into your opponent's base there. We'll see if El Matador learns his lesson here or not, as Ring Giver is indeed coming through, and those Ulfjarls are going to be very, very strong. Yet also Magic is getting a lot of those Herdmen out to boot. And we'll see where to next in this game, as medium infantry coming in, Hephaspus coming out, hoplites, and all the other units coming in. El Matador is he's actually equal on population. There is going to be a Njord. There is going to be a problem to deal with that Walking Woods coming in. We'll have to see if it's going to be a big problem or not. Is Magic going to be sneaking up to the top corner of the map here and looking for some sort of pressure over, and El Matador basically just has to sit here. He could throw up a fortress, and it looks like he's kind of not aware of those raiding cavalry that are behind him in this one. He doesn't see them. Magic plays very sneaky with those raiding cavalry as he gets onto this position here. The villagers do get pulled away quickly. One or two villagers should fall here, but Magic will have to retreat back. Good little bit of raids. Trades one raiding cavalry, two raiding cavalry there for a villager. Not the best, but he gets a whole bunch of idle villager time for it, as those raiding cavalry are going to turn around and get a little bit of shanking action happening, as we also see bronze armor coming through from Magic. He's going to have to force a fight here relatively soon, as this army of El Matador is just going to get scarier and scarier and scarier for the Norsemen, as we see some units popping forward here, attempting to push these bad boys back. Prodromus do have 7 speed here, as well as the Nemean Lion comes in to get a little bit of damage. As Magic now looking to take this fight here. Can El Matador win this one or not? He's going to be pulling back those Hippias as best as he can. We see the Walking Woods getting cast down onto this position as the Herdmen pulling in over to the bottom side of the map. Great micro from El Matador to pull the Hippias away from here. Very, very nice play there. And now Magic pulling back with the rest of his units. The population is still favoring Magic at the end of this one, plus those Walking Woods are going to be coming through, and El Matador needs to pull back and defend himself over here, as the army going to swing back up to this position, and we'll see how it's all going to go as the units coming back in here. Great play from Magic in this one. Matador almost managed to find that win with the micro, but it just was not enough, as the Nemean Lion getting pulled all the way back as well, as those Walking Woods are going to slowly start marching forward to take down the military academy, take down the villages, and all the other good stuff here. So the Thrown Axemen are also coming into the army to get as much value as they possibly can. Meanwhile, over here, the Herdmen, the raiding cavalry, everything else coming forward. We will be seeing those Hippias now starting to engage yet again, but there's just not enough of a counter to this infantry army, which Magic has managed to amass here in this one. And it looks as if El Matador is going to be getting swept off of the map here. These units are just too strong for Magic, and the gold mine is completely open. And El Matador does decide to tap out here. As Magic finds the winning fight here. He has the winning composition. El Matador needed to get more in to those infantry units and maybe even get some archers out here. There was opportunity to go in for Nemean Lions as well for El Matador, but he just could not figure this one out. Those Herbmen just a little bit too strong in that fight, and that ends up being the game. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.